What's up, everybody? This is Zack, aka Zaki, creator of Jelly Radio and many more podcasts, and the website Zack.coffee. That's ZSCK.COFFEE. All right, guys, it is later in the middle of the week, but we're recording this video a little late for Monday. Let's go back in time as I like to do my long form content curation for Mondays. This was for Monday, February 17th. I had just released Jelly Radio 2800 right now. That's out right now. Be sure to enjoy. So you can just go to the quick link and you can just click on it. And the latest version of 2800 is version 80. I've done so many versions of it, but there's a lot of great music from French rap to trance, house music, all kinds of electronic music genres, and music from around the world. All right, let's go ahead and go into the news. Here we go. The first thing first, it appears that there's a nightmare of a Trump-Putin deal, and it leaves Europe in shock. This is an article from The Economist. As you know, on this past weekend on Sunday, President Emmanuel Macron from France got a bunch of people together from the European Union to discuss what was happening, because it appears that Trump was just talking about Ukraine directly with Putin without including Zelensky and Poland and anything like that. So everyone's getting on edge, finding it a little risky and stuff, and they're not too thrilled about what's happening. So read the article at The Economist and see what's happening there. Up next, we have an article called Congo's Agony, The Fall of Goma. This is an article from 1843 magazine. This is another branch of The Economist magazine. Please read the article. A lot of people have died in Congo, over 600 people. No one's really much talking about it. They talk about it variously on BBC News or BBC News or CNN, MSNBC. But if you want to hear about it some more, they mention it on the Al Jazeera News. Very important. Up next, Trump and Putin's call triggers fear in Ukraine and Europe. Everyone in Ukraine and Europe are a little upset because without thinking about it so much, Ukraine, the country, the Eastern European country, is actually only a mere 1,500 kilometers away from France, from Paris. It's putting people not at ease. Be sure to read that article. Listen to that article. This is a podcast from The Economist. Up next, how will protectionist trade policies and shifting security priorities impact the U.S. largest trading partners? Explore this and more through a dedicated Trump hub. So be sure to read this article. It's from the EIU, the Economist Intelligence Unit. I also want to thank the Economist, because they sent me a copy of one of their issues from just 1 or 2 weeks ago, entitled Project 1897, the Imperial Presidency, which is what's happening with Trump. And it's really scary what is happening. I want you guys to just please pay attention to the news, pay attention to what he's doing, because yes, at the beginning of the Trump presidency, everyone had what they called news fatigue. We were fatigued from all the news that was happening. But the problem was, once everyone was so exhausted from the news, things got progressively worse and worse during this beginning of this Trump administration, which is now, we were in the third week, fourth week. So now we're still in the fourth or fifth week of this Trump administration. It is pretty scary. What's happening is just very scary. All right, let's go ahead and drink some coffee or some tea, whatever you like. Delicious. All right. So once again, big shout out to The Economist magazine. I love you guys. Unfortunately, I cannot afford your subscription. If I can find someone that would be willing to send me a gift subscription so I can read again, it would be much appreciated. All right, guys. Up next, we have a news from Joshua Topolsky. Joshua Topolsky is back. I was wondering what was going to happen to him. He had like 3 websites. All of them were out of commission, and we never heard from those websites again, including Outline and all that. But he's back with a website called Sherwood News. That's SHERWOOD News. And this website has some latest brand new news in the world of technology and elsewhere. And he had an article talking about Intel trading overtakes NVIDIA as White House pushes for TSMC deal. So be sure to read that. Intel Corp is going through a big hoopla right now because people are thinking about breaking down the company and buying off parts of it just so just to change. It's going to change. It's kind of like a takeover, but it has really done a lot of activity on the stock market because the stock was doing really bad. Was at $18. Then because people said someone was going to buy it, it jumped to $28. So it's a very volatile stock. Very volatile stock. Now, please remember, my major was in college was in economics. My major is not in financial analysis. I do economist. So I will never say buy or trade or sell or keep for the Intel Corp stock. As you know me, I'm eager to work back for the company, but the company is now split into different jars. There's Intel Corp, there's Intel Foundry, there's Intel Ohio, which has been delayed some more now. It was going to be 2025, 2026, now it's going to be 2027. So it's like 2 years away. There's Intel Germany, which was canceled. Some of us want Intel Germany to come back. And there's Intel Japan, which have a great say and hopefully will help Intel to some grandiose opportunities. Don't forget that the Intel also has a building in Holland, in Netherlands, where they have Intel Quantum. Okay, let's jump on to the next news. When your job breaks your heart. This is an article from Harvard Business Review. Be sure to read that article. Very interesting article. Be sure to check it out. Up next, all passengers and crew survived plane crash at Toronto Airport. This is a BBC News article. So very interesting plane crash where the plane was upside down and it managed to be okay. Now, there's something very peculiar about all these plane crashes because there's been like over 87 incidents of them. But lo and behold, the good somewhat news from these plane crashes is that based on these statistics, there has been numerous plane crashes where there has been survivors. As you know, for the longest time, for numerous years, for numerous generations, a period of 30 years or more, throughout the history, plane crashes resulted in all casualties and no survivors. But this is an amazing thing that now, with these plane crashes, people are trying to understand ways to have survivors on these planes, and that's a big advancement in the world of aircraft security. Now, there are some other startups and companies that have come up with some very innovative technology to what to do in the midst of a plane crash and how to save a plane and all its passengers. There's a great article. Let me see if I can find it. I'll just post it in the video on the YouTube comments. There was a great startup that came up with these things where basically the plane, as it would crash, would be split apart into three parts: the back wing, the front of the plane, and then the middle of the plane, which is all the passengers. And basically, two little like montgolfières would just like balloons, hot air balloons, would just pop up, and then it would slowly bring the half of the plane down so that the passenger would be safe and secure as they land. It's a very amazing, innovative technology, and very much this should be investment. They should definitely follow this idea. It's a really good thing to have come up with. All right, guys. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. The next article we have is from Bloomberg. Bloomberg saying that Japan perfected 7-Eleven. Why can't the U.S. get it right? This is very sad. 7-Elevens try to do a bunch of innovative stuff in the U.S. and it hasn't seemed to click. But I'm eager to visit a 7-Eleven, just like when you play Yakuza on the PlayStation. And I hope to go to one of those stores and get what it's to get a Slurpee. I don't really drink Slurpee. I've never had a Slurpee in years, but it has a lot of sugar for sure. But I'll have a Slurpee and maybe a little bag of sushi or like one of those rice sandwich, and just check out the experience. But I know that 7-Eleven is big in Japan, and in the U.S. it should be big again. We'll see what happens. Okay, up next, article from Reuters. Germany elections 2025 party policies, opinion polls, and key issues. very tumultuous time in Europe and in Germany. The election is coming up very soon, and people protested in the streets against the AFD, which is the extreme right party. The extreme right party is trying to flew the elections and trying to, you know, sneak in there and just take over the country. Olaf, the German chancellor, was very scared, and they basically have they basically worked very hard to to ex- to explain themselves and express themselves as the German population that you know racism has no place in Germany, and we hope to God that that the extreme right will not take place, not take over Germany. It would be very deteriorating for its country. Speaking of Germany, I love German cars, and as always, I'm still dreaming of having my first Berlin, my first German engineer sedan, either Mercedes Benz, an Audi, Porsche, BMW, whichever. All right. Up next, we have an article from Al Jazeera News. Al Jazeera News saying, despite ceasefire, Israel still destroying home in Gaza. Very sad ordeal, and we hope that Israel stick to the ceasefire and does not continue to bombard Gaza. We need to have a ceasefire. That's what was agreed upon for like 6 weeks. They have to agree to the ceasefire. Up next, Taliban's overthrow a possibility, says former Iranian diplomat. This is an article on Afghanistan International. This is a great article because if it is possible to get rid of the Taliban, we must go ahead and get that done. And it is possible. There is a way to do it. The technology that the Air Force has, the AF Works and Space Works and all that stuff, Space Force, there is a way to get rid of all these Talibans and just hopefully the Northern Alliance could take over the country and bring Afghanistan to peace. Please understand that there's multiple countries that are eager to see peace in Afghanistan. It's not just the U.S., which right now is not helping as much because they feel that they got fatigued from after 20 years. But China wants peace in Afghanistan. Russia wants peace in Afghanistan. I know we're very much clashing over here, but if everybody can agree some kind of peace in Afghanistan, despite the fact that they want to steal all the mineral resources and all this and that, but if they can find a way to bring peace to Afghanistan, it would be a great, very helpful for the region and prevent ISIS to really do something bad and have a new camp or whatever it's called, and then do really bad ordeals throughout the planet again. So it would be very good to save Afghanistan again. It can happen. Up next, we have an article from Politico. Politico saying Europe's leaders find no quick response to Trump's bombshell on Ukraine. If Trump removes the amount of money, the billions that are being sent to the war in Ukraine, the war effort in Ukraine against Russia, it appears like European leaders don't know what they would have to do. They would be in a very difficult situation, and that's very true. Up next, this article is from the New Yorker. The old school heroics of the pit. This is a great new TV show on HBO Max. I really like this TV show. It has my favorite character from ER. Remember ER, the TV series, Carter. Well, whatever that guy's name is, he is the main character in The Pit. It is a great TV show. I hope to be able to watch more episodes. I watched a couple ones, but I need a HBO Max subscription again, so it would be fun to watch again. It's a really good show. Check out the first episode. It was really awesome. Keep up the good work with that show. We'll look forward. I hope it gets greenlit for a second season and all this, and that's going to be great. Up next, we have an article from The Verge. The war on DEI is a smokescreen. This is very scary. The war on DEI is actually a war on minorities, a war on black people. That's what it is. You just use the terminology DEI, but before it was CRT. You know CRT, remember when they were with that CRT and then all this and that? All they're trying to say is we're just trying to fight against black people. It's very scary stuff. Up next, we have an article from Vox. Vox is saying, I work in global health. Trump ditching the World Organization might be the wake up call it needs. This is an article from Vox. Um, when Trump does not let the CDC discuss the work that they have to do, informing the population, please get vaccinated, please vaccinate your children. People are not listening, and terrible things are happening. You see all what happens in Texas, all these measles cases, like over 48 or 50 or 60 cases of measles. People can die from this stuff. It is not good. You have to get your kids vaccinated. Please understand, you know, there's a severe lack of education. If you think that something is bad when you vaccinate your children, nothing is bad. If you really are in Texas and you're vaccinating your dogs and your cats, but you don't vaccinate your children, something is wrong with you in the head. Seriously. You don't want your pets to die, but it's okay if your kids would die. It's very scary. You have to really go to the doctor, and it's okay if you're uninformed. If you might be ignorant, so educate yourself. Read a little brochure. Talk to a pediatrician. You know what a pediatrician is? It's a doctor for children. That means he went to college, he did pre-med, then he did 4 years of medical school, then he did 2 or 4 more years of specialization to become a pediatrician. And he learned about how we have to vaccinate children. That's the first thing they do when they are toddlers, so that they don't fall apart from, if you lived 1,000 years ago, you would die from a pandemic, the Black Plague and all this and that. But nowadays we have vaccines, we have all this and that just to help you stay alive. It's very important. There's no chip in these vaccines. The chip is in the fucking iPhone. Right there. When you walk around with your iPhone or your Android phone, which one? This is the iPhone, this is the Android phone. This is the thing that has the chip. There's no chip inside the goddamn vaccine. Don't listen to all these idiot people who claim that they know exactly what they're talking about, all this and that. No. Even RFK Jr. doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's not a doctor. He's no doctor. He's just he talks with a very deep voice like he's about to die or something. It's very stupid. Please pay attention. Take your kids to the pediatrician. Get them vaccinated. Don't let them die off of some stupid disease. It's really very sad. Up next, we have an article from TechCrunch. TechCrunch is saying, next door, Nirav Tolia thinks that he can turn things around with AI. He has a lot writing on it. So, article from TechCrunch. Right now, I'm not too thrilled with TechCrunch and Y Combinator. As you know, they didn't want to invest in my ideas, and they've been just reverse engineering all my ideas, and I'm really upset because it seems that everybody in San Francisco, whether you're white or Indian, can seem to get funding, but if you have a name with an Arabic connotation, for some reason you can't get funding. So I'm very feeling disrespected right now. So that's why I'm trying to get hired with French companies, French startups, French corporation. Hopefully that will work out. We'll see what happens. Up next, we have an article from MIT Technology Review. The article says Fast Learning Robots 10 Breakthrough Technologies 2025. Great article from MIT Technology Review. Be sure to check it out. Up next, this is an article from Business Insider. Business Insider is saying Southwest Airlines is cutting 15% of its workforce in its first ever mass layoff. Read the CEO's full memo to employees. Article from Business Insider. I really don't think that firing anybody in the plane industry is a good idea. Just because the more staff on hand, the better it is. And I really want you guys to understand that they're not paid enough. You really, when you talk about security and DHS, Homeland Security Department, Homeland Security, all this and that, do you really want to keep the lives of all these people and people that are just paid not even $17 an hour at the TSA? That's no bueno. They should be getting paid $20 an hour, $30 an hour, even more. That's if we keep these people and our security in their hands. They should have a great salary. It's very important. So be sure to check out that article from Business Insider. Very sad about those losses. Up next, we have an article from LinkedIn, just on NATO. NATO just about the partnership between Estonians and Dutch air forces. So be sure to check out that article. It's on LinkedIn. Great work. Up next, The Guardian. The Guardian has an article saying a Jewish man mistakes two Israeli tourists for Palestinians and opens fire on them in Miami. Very interesting story by The Guardian. Goes to show how hatred leads to nowhere. Up next, article by the New York Times. New York Times has an article that says thousands gather on President's Day to call Trump a tyrant. Um, Trump definitely overreached his his power, and the executive branch definitely is trying to overtake everything in the United States, and it is time for the other branches to really do the checks and balances and explain to him that he can't just run the country like a king. It's very scary over here. Not just over here, not in California we're good, but throughout the country it's complete a big disaster. Up next, let me go ahead and drink a little bit more tea or coffee, whatever you prefer. Up next, we have an article by Huffington Post. Huffington Post saying life-threatening cold hits parts of the U.S. following deadly weekend flooding. Be very careful. Check out the weather news and all this and that wherever you are in the country. Be sure to have heavy clothing and all this and that. Wear layers because you don't want to get cold. You don't want to get the flu, and just be very careful. And definitely no frostbites either. Stay warm. Up next, article by The Atlantic. The opposition is already growing. This is great because everyone is getting mad about Trump, and there's a big hashtag, the hashtag MAGA regrets. MAGA regrets, that's right. They all thought that Trump was their savior and they were all going to become rich and have millions of dollars. They were just going to win some kind of lottery. It was stupid. It was a stupid ordeal. They did not understand what kind of predicament they put themselves in, and now they really are seeing that, goes to show that we might enter a great recession or something just because of the stupidity of Trump. He's firing everybody. Government pretty much almost shut down because he fired so many departments. No one is working. No one is keeping the country operating or afloat. Very scary stuff. We'll have to see what happens. All right. After this article by The Atlantic, we have an article by the Washington Post. The Washington Post. Trump administration fires thousands for a performance review without evidence and in messy rush. So, article by the Washington Post. Be sure to check out the article by the Washington Post. Up next, we have an article by Le Monde. Le Monde. Paris exhibition brings Gaza's saved archaeological heritage back into the spotlight. Really great that there's a museum that talks about Gaza Museum because all of its history is being destroyed by Israel right now. It's really scary. Up next, SNL brings back Black Jeopardy sketch with Eddie Murphy, Tracy Morgan, and Leslie Jones. This is by Mashable. I'll have to watch the new SNL episode. I haven't got a chance yet. And kudos to SNL for putting Tom Hanks as a MAGA supporter, and you see him doing like the way they act now. They're uncomfortable because everybody knows that people wear those MAGA red hats are all just racist, blatantly racist, and want to wear a white hood, but all they are actually they're just essentially KKK members. It's pretty sad. All right, next article we have is by Vice. Vice has a salty encrusted chicken tenders recipe, so be sure to check out that it's a big craving that everybody has right now, so be sure to check out that recipe from Vice. Shout out to Vice. All right. Up next, we have an article from The Intercept. The Intercept. The Columbia Network pushing behind the scenes to deport and arrest student protesters. This is very sad. A lot of people that are protesting were students on visas, and now they're being deported because they were protesting. So very scary stuff. Be sure to look at that article for more details. Up next, Nat Geo. How supercomputers paved the way for laptops and chatbots. Be sure to check out the article from Nat Geo, and it's it's very it's fascinating. Afterwards, we have an article from NPR. NPR, thousands of people protesting in Washington, D.C. and across the U.S. on President's Day. This is from NPR. Be sure to check it out. Great article. A lot of protests, a lot of people against Trump and his administration. They're clearly mentioning that they're not doing a good job. Up next, article by Cap Radio News. Uh, Southern California hit by destructive debris flows caused by heavy rain. Yeah, after all the fires, now there's a bunch of heavy rains. Very, all those mudslides, very difficult conundrum. Up next, au Paraguay, les promesses non tenues du barrage d'Itaipu. An article by Le Monde Diplomatique. So this is an article in French. So if you speak French, be sure to check it out. Up next, the new war on drug, why the fentanyl crisis requires a more comprehensive strategy than threats and tariffs. This is from Foreign Affairs. This is a very difficult subject, the fight against the war on drugs and fentanyl. And what people need to realize is that the only way this fight is going to be won is if they decide to legalize things like weed. Weed has to be legalized in America, and it is in many places, and legalize MDMA, which is ecstasy. By legalizing ecstasy, um, all those idiot kids who were out on raves, they will less likely be taking a pill that they don't know what it is and not succumb to injuries or pass away. Because fentanyl is so dangerous that even just a small amount will literally kill a person. That's how dangerous the disease is. So please consider it if you're in government and stuff. By legalizing MDMA, which is called ecstasy, it will prevent kids from killing themselves off of this goddamn fentanyl. Fentanyl is a very dangerous disease, and when the police catch people on the road that has fentanyl, it's scary stuff. It's scary stuff. Why is it so scary? Because when they catch like a couple of pounds or a couple of tons of this stuff, they do that. They play the numbers and then say that this amount of fentanyl could literally destroy. I think one time they had a catch. They caught a guy that had enough fentanyl to kill like 20 million people. 20 million people with just that small amount of fentanyl. It's crazy. Or hundreds of millions of people. It's very scary stuff. So, like I said, my personal opinion: if you want to get in the fight of fentanyl, make MDMA legal, ecstasy legal for ages 21 and up. First 21 and up, and then 18 and up. But gradually do it. But it's a very difficult situation. If you do threats and tariffs, it might get worse and worse. Like the San Francisco downtowns where all the drug abusers are walking around like zombies. This is what might happen in more cities. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. Up next, we have an article by The Diplomat. The Diplomat saying how the CCP co-opted an ancient Buddhist monk. Check out that article. Very great. Up next, we have an article by, let's see. Next article is, this was an article by The Diplomat. Now it's an article by Cypher Brief. Cypher Brief is saying the art of negotiating with Vladimir Putin. Very complicated scenario, complicated work, so be sure to check that out. Up next, an article from Intelligence Online in French. Chine, le grand jeu chinois de la recherche d'alliés pour stabiliser l'Afghanistan. As I mentioned before, China is serious. They really want to stabilize Afghanistan. It's really awesome thing for China, and thank you so much. Had some Chinese food the other day. Delicious. Really love that stuff. It's so good. Chow mein, amazing. Up next, we have an article by Quantum Magazine, how I think Noether Theorems Revolutionized Physics. So be sure that stuff is for all the math and physics nerds. Be sure to check it out. Enjoy. Geeks, nerds, otakus. Up next, article from CERN. Talks about the LHC, so be sure to check it out. Um, there's up next we have an article from NASA, which is some podcasts from NASA, so be sure to check it out. All right. Then I'm talking about my little my little 2 cents, my commenting for that for that Monday, and I talk about how there's. Hope you guys had a nice Valentine's Day weekend. I didn't do much because I'm going through a divorce. There were 6 planets lined up in the sky. So right now, this month is a great romantic time. You have to, if you can, if you have a loved one, kiss that person because you're never going to see 6 planets lined up again for a very long time. The next time it's going to happen, it's going to be like the year 2040. So um, I did have hot wings for the other day, so that was good. But they were not from Buffalo Wild Wings, so it wasn't as good as that, but still pretty good. What else did I say? I'm still trying to come up with the um, getting a new car. I'm really trying my damnedest. This is like exploitation at this point. I don't understand how other influencer can just magically get funds. Even my heroes, you know, MKBHD, uh, Dave 2D, you know, others like Casey Neistat, Justine. Eventually they got partnership. Eventually they got funding. Eventually someone replied to their emails, replied to their videos, and they got to buy a car. They got to update their hardware. They got to have a studio, a monitor, all this and that. So I don't understand. Like I've done so many Jelly Radio episodes, which is about 70,000 songs, um, over 2,800 episodes, which is more episodes than any DJ on the planet. I've done more DJ podcast episodes than anybody else, and I'm about to hit a milestone. I'm about to get to July Radio 3,000. That's gonna be a big one. There should be a party. I might utilize the special feature on Spotify so you can listen to it worldwide around the planet at the same time. And yeah, I just want to play it, but I want to celebrate with. I want to have a new car. It really means a lot to me. It really would help me out. So um, I'm trying to do Hail Mary over here, where I'm going to be in France for a couple of weeks. Get that French passport renewed, and get a then talk to La French Tech Grenoble and see if anybody needs me or see if they want to invest, and go on from there. If I find work there, great. If I don't, when I come back to the United States, then I have a French passport. I can work at La French Tech SF, no problem. That's legally, I'm good to go. It's a French passport, French American, and can work in the whole EU, the whole European Union. It would be great. But I'm eager. Like I said, I have to find something. Right now, I haven't been helped financially for the past 4 to 5 months, and without this $800 a month, so now it's like I'm out 3,000 for the past 5 months. So it's 4 or 5 months. So it's really scary. Can't afford to pay. Like I can't even afford to pay my cell phone bill for the Android phone. I only use the Wi-Fi feature right now. And yeah. Yeah, Penny University Cafe in Modesto. It's still great. I will visit it again. It was fun to be at a local coffee shop again and just have my kind of like my sanctuary where I just kind of chillax and have my laptop and my notebooks and my journal and my books while I'm reading all this and that. And I can't wait to visit again. Good job on the presentation and the fact that you have dark chocolate mochas. That's great coffee, and you have matcha and you have all this stuff. It's amazing. All right. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for the video from Monday. This is gonna be the video from this past Monday, um, February 17th. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, be safe wherever you are in America, and wear layers in case it gets cold. It's really getting cold out there for all you guys. We're in California, so it tends to be good, but we you know we want to see some rain. We want to see some rain because once the rain stops, then we're not going to get any rain until after the summer's over. So let's pray for this rain for the next couple of months and some clouds, les nuages, because once it gets too hot, then will be stuck until next fall or autumn. Okay. Once again, big shout out to The Economist. Lots of respect for you guys. I appreciate it. I will read this issue cover to cover, and I will also buy another issue from airport newspaper stand. And I'm actually pretty excited because if I am in France, I might be able to buy The Economist in French. Do you have it in French over there? That would be great. I would love to read it in French. Okay. All right. Big shout out to all my viewers throughout the world. I know that some of you are very upset that I haven't done my videos dubbed in Japanese. Remember, I used to do a couple of videos dubbed in Japanese? That is not my fault. The membership for the application that I use the special AI to dub the version in Japanese was it used to cost $150 a year, and now it became so people enjoyed it so much, the company profiteered so much. Now they're making it very expensive. They've got so many requests. They're doing $150 per month. So obviously, without a job or career salary, I cannot afford $150 a month to have that feature. So whenever I have funds to do it, I will be able to translate some of my videos in Japanese again. I know it was really fun. I miss doing it. The company is called Rask. It's like Rask AI, something like that. Let me go ahead and check out the website for you guys just to make sure if you're interested in it. Yeah, it's rask.ai. It's rask.ai. That's the website. And you can translate videos like 30 languages. It's amazing, but it's really expensive. All right, guys. As always, it is February 19th, so I have less than 2 weeks until my trip to France. I'm very excited. Please, if you're in France and you need to see me, whether you're a fan, supporter, or you want to help me out, or you think I can help out your startups or whatever, find me. I'll be in Grenoble. I'll be in Annecy as well, but I'll be in Grenoble for like a week. And I know that La French Tech is big in many cities of France. In my old hometown of France, in Rennes, La Poule, La French Tech SF Saint-Malo, Rennes Saint-Malo, there's like 1,500 people working on startup there. It's a big hub, a big community, big incubator, and all this and that. It's amazing. But unfortunately, I won't be going to Rennes on this trip. I'll be going to Grenoble and Annecy. In the future, once I have my French passport, then if I get someone helps me pay for flights, by all means, I will come again and hang out. But for here and then, I'm very eager just to talk to La French Tech Grenoble, and obviously go to La FNAC and go to the music section and get some CDs, get some French rap CDs. I'll be very happy. All right, guys, we're at 38 minutes, so let's go ahead and wait a couple more seconds and said, please watch Black Hawk Down documentary on Netflix. Really great documentary, very important. And as always, guys, the motto stays the same from the movie Black Hawk Down, from the documentaries, from the soundtrack. The thing remains the same. Leave no man behind, okay? Please like and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.